starting in the 30th chapter, 18th verse. And by way of quick review, we're looking at the prophets because it's giving us a wider perspective of how the Most High sees us. Yes, He loves us. Yes, we're special. Yes, all of the things that we have been taught. Mostly it's the highlights. All of the highlights that we've been taught. Yes, they're true, but that's not all that He sees in us. Often we have areas of growth, and we have rooms in our houses, and in those rooms, the biggest room is the room for improvement. And so and I'm not saying this by any authority. I'm saying this as one of us. He does he does expect a return on his investment. Most people don't see. They see the Most High for what He is, but I tend to see Him sometimes somewhat like an investor or a businessman, and I'm not trivializing who He is. Of course, I'm well aware He's the great I am. But Donnie touched on it. This term reciprocity. Of course, we know the Most High does not give to get, but He does believe in multiplication. He does believe in multiplying. He does believe in being fruitful. And so He has given every man and woman a measure of faith. And it's up to us to take that measure of faith and apply it when we're doing the instruction. When we're living out the instruction in our lives, that's how that measure grows. And so with the instruction, with a mixture of willingness to do His will, a willingness to be obedient to the instruction, not only being obedient in hearing it, not only being obedient in, a lot of us can memorize it and recite it, but the reciprocity is in our doing. And as we continue to do, blessings will overtake us. They will. It's you know, and see, the thing with the blessings, remember this too. Everything you acquire requires something of you. Let me say that again. Everything you acquire in life will require something of you. You want wonderful relationships, you got to put the work in. For a while, as children, we could rely on our parents to put the work in for us, up until 12 or 13. But after a declaration is made, the parents are then relieved. Now they still have their own working out. They're still putting the work in, but now the work that they're putting in is for themselves. And so there seems to be an onslaught of parents and grandparents still assisting, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I want to bring this up, and we'll still get into Jeremiah too, but there's been an onslaught of children with families still requiring, and I'm an example of that myself, still requiring assistance from their parents and or grandparents. And again, the Most High is big on reciprocity. And we should be big on reciprocity. But I'm not talking about giving to get. I'm talking about realizing that whatever comes to you, somebody put some work in to get it to you. See, I call, and I'm not getting political here, but I call the government Jody. But see, Jody's asking for a lot of his stuff back. Jody is asking for a lot of his stuff back. And see, some of us have gotten comfortable letting Jody put the work in. But what Jody didn't tell you was one day, I'm going to pull that rug from up under you. Not against government. Government has its place. But again, everyone that is the seed of a man, let me put it that way. Let me say that again, because particularly in the United States, we've got it backwards. The seed of life is in the man. Go back to Genesis. The seed of life is in the man. Pastor used to say a lot of times, and I know it went over a lot of people's head, he would say a man is a world all unto himself. And he wasn't pushing, what is they like to say, toxic masculinity. He was sharing word. But with that comes, the Most High is looking for something. He's looking for a return out of your life. Everybody that came by, most of us in here came the same way. Your folks got together and you the result. I know science is working on a whole lot of crazy stuff, but again, I don't want to get into that. But what I'm saying to you is everybody sitting here breathing, he wants something from you. He's invested a lot in you. You're here for his pleasure. And I think we forget that sometimes. And we do because, we work hard and we want to reward ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've been taught to see him a certain way. We've been taught to go after his hand. And I'm here to tell you, brothers and sisters, let's begin to want to seek his face. You know, even with this advent of insight, where we've got prayer one week and then there's insight into life the next week. And it doesn't always have to be, I mean, if you want to use, the Bible and scriptures, that's fine. But I know for myself, I've got a myriad of stuff that I would like to share that has nothing to do with politics. It's to do with our health. Things that we should be eating and things of that nature. And stuff that we got in our homes. I see Deacon Richardson without his glasses, carrots and things like that. That help. See, we need to know about lycopene, and we need to know about all of the natural things that can come forth in the teachings, some insight. Again, not knocking Bible. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, see, insight gives believers a chance to talk about life itself. It's more to coming to church than singing what we call gospel music, having somebody get up, give what we call a sermon. You dress up, you hug people's neck, and you go home, and you do it all again the next week. It's more to it than that. And I'm not knocking that. Insight gives us a chance to really get to kind of know one another because, see, some of us, I don't know what you watch, when you're at home. And, that's none of my business. But I come across so much stuff, and I'm like, and I know I'm not the only one. I'm like, there's a ton of valuable information. My big thing now, because I'm in that clan, I'm about what's going to keep us seniors around, because I'm the way things are now, I'm nervous about turning things over to younger people. And that's no knock. I love young people. But some of the adult decisions that our young people, see, the young people are supposed to be, I want them working because they got to pay for my retirement. Because, see, I paid for my grandparents and my parents' retirement. That's the way this thing works. So the young people, they don't want to get married no more. And I hadn't planned to go down that aisle, but we need some folks to work. We put our work in. We put the work in. We put the work in. And see, Jody ain't finished pulling the rug. Now Jody eventually is going to want to say, well, Barry, can we, are you willing to take a cut in your Social Security? Are you willing to do that for the good of the country? Because you're a good American. I ain't say American, I said American. I said that for a reason. And again, I'm not being political. I'm not. But see, all of us one day, and I'm thinking about Charles. Both Charles, our Charles and Pastor Charles Cates. particularly, I mean, again, he's expecting something from all of us. But again, men, I'm telling you, listen, we got to stay ready. We got to stay ready. Because you never know when the coach is going to call you off the bench and say, okay, get in the game. And if he's saying, if you've been living by my instructions, you are ready. You're ready for me to call and get in there and make something happen. Some of us seniors have some tough decisions to make, but I will say this because I know you love your families, you love especially your grandchildren. They just precious. But you love your kids too. More often, you like your kids and you love your grandkids. But I'm saying, seniors, we still got a long time to be here. And you can't, how can I say this? Be wise in your distribution. You want to be seen more than just a resource. Let me say that again. And do not confuse. I am not saying don't help your family. Of course you should. Y'all expect you to. But we got to live too. And many of us are still working. And some of us may not necessarily be working for ourselves. Reciprocity, saints, you need to do a word study on what reciprocity really means. The system taught us how to receive. And it's taught us a funny way of giving because it taught us a way to give, but we gave hoping to get something in return. But when you look at it from his perspective, that's when you start living your life to where what you're saying is, Father, truly, what is it you want from me today? And sometimes in your quest to try to do what he wants you to do today, you're constantly being besieged with, this happened, that happened. And stuff does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. But we need to be encouraging everybody in the household and everybody in your lineage, everybody in your bloodline. You need to be encouraging them. Hey, you owe him something. Get it back to him. See, you don't want to be viewed mainly as a resource. Yah is all of our resource. And so we need to teach our families that, hey, yeah, sometimes I'm the vessel that's being used, but you are now at an age where you need to practice reciprocity. And it's easier to do that when you're starting in your own families. Brothers doing nice things for sisters and vice versa, for cousins and things of this nature. Mom and dad say no, first thing we do, pick up the phone, call grandma, call grandpa. Where did they learn that at? With Jody on the rampage, people are now starting to realize I do need people in my life See, all of these people that thought they had it made. See, the ice been melting under our feet for a long time. Now it's starting to get real slippery, and it's getting, the bottom of our shoes are getting wet. And we're wondering, where this water coming from? The water's coming from us sitting down, letting somebody else put the work in. Nobody else can put your work in but you. And I will say this, because I've experienced this. Sometimes what we call our love, we're actually we're causing our loved ones sometimes to go in decline. Instead of growing, they regress. Why? Because daddy got it, mama got it, grandma got it, grandpa got it. What did I just say? I called 4 different people. And I still haven't called myself yet. That's a deceptive thing. See, we call that love. And again, I'm not saying don't help. But sometimes we have crippled them to where they think, I don't gotta. And more of us are being called home. And I wonder sometimes when I get the opportunity, I like to talk with people sometime, and I set them up. I say, I know you love your parents. Yeah, I do. I know you love your grandparents. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then you ask them, well, you do know they're not going to be here forever. So why are we acting in a way that's giving them more gray hair? See, that's a form of reciprocity. What are you talking about? Well, if nothing else, maybe you don't have a wad of money you can go in your pocket and say, yeah, well, hey, Grandpa, thanks for getting me that bike. Here's the money back. You can't do that, but what you can do is stop being a knucklehead. That's a form of reciprocity. And I'm not just talking about the young people. I'm talking about some of us old as dirt and still act like teenagers. Some of us are very immature for our chronological age. Sometimes it's surprising. I'm like, well, and I realize we really don't know each other. We think, now we know each other when it comes to sitting in church and somebody teaching. But have you had some conversations with saints after service? And you think they one way, and by the time that conversation's over, you're looking at them in a whole nother light? And it's not necessarily, you're kind of disappointed. And I'm not saying that you're saying that in judgment. You're saying, I thought things were a little more buttoned up than that. Because some of them been in church, some of them been in church all their life. Notice what I said. Some of them been in church all their life. Let me get to this. I see it. Because some of that is in here. In Jeremiah 30, 18, it says, thus saith Yah. Listen what he says. He says, I will return Jacob's captives to their tents. I will take pity on his dwellings. Cities will be rebuilt on their own tails. That means on their own sites. With palaces where they're supposed to be. From them will come thanksgiving and the sound of people celebrating. And see, right now, most of us, we're stressed. You know, stuff is just crazy. You know, if you just look at, you know, if you look at the news or whatever, turn the radio on. And we're at a point where it's like, well, what gives? You know, now you turn it on, you want to find out what else they taking away. You know. And then you start thinking about all them people you stood around and you bragged about, I got my own this, I got that. And all of that may be true, but you ain't said nothing about what kind of person you are. You just said what you got. And I'm going to go there. It seems like, you know, well, now people say, I guess the fella's saying, I don't even want to date. And now people are saying they don't even want to marry. And that's cutting into the workforce. Japan, China at one time had a law saying you can't have but 1.2 kids. Now they done changed that because they realize they need some workers. Japan, the same thing. But here in the United States, you know, where everybody gets to be whatever they want to be. If you don't like your sex, just change it. You know, you decide what you want to do and be and whatever. And that's a dangerous thing because it's affecting the way that things were set up. And we got to remember, we are here because he was displeased with our forefathers. We were in exile. We are in exile in this country. But it's hard to tell somebody that when you got a, 4 or 5 bedroom house, 3 or 4 bathrooms, 2 cars, closet full of clothes, and you stand up and say, well, I got this and I got that and stuff. Yeah, we all got a lot of stuff. We're encouraged every day to get stuff. More and more and more. You turn your cell phone on. Now you gotta, every year they come out with a new model. Everything is designed to keep you going in your pocket. And he's saying, listen, he told us earlier, he said, yeah, I did this to you. I sent you in exile. But we've forgotten, and we're trying to live life now, forgetting that we are in exile, and we want to live life like every day is King's Dominion in Busch Garden. And we've been taught by the system that that's how you can tell how much God loves you. By the size of your house, how many cars you got, what kind of job you got. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I don't want to give my stuff up. I work hard for it. At least I think I did. So I'm not saying that, but our minds are totally, see, we forgot we were in exile, and so we started looking for his hand because we was like, give me more stuff, give me more stuff, give me more stuff. But now we're trying to say, well, hey, Father, what's this thing about reciprocity? I understand you made a covenant with me, and I had nothing. And you said, hey, all of this is yours, but I got some instructions for you. Stay away from this. The one that had everything made a deal with us, and we couldn't even keep that up. We couldn't keep up our end. We who had nothing, he who had everything, wanted to cut a deal with us, and we couldn't keep up our end of the bargain. And we're doing our parents the same way. We're doing our grandparents the same way. We're doing our siblings the same way. Because we don't understand. What's that reciprocity? Jody can even say, well, the reason why I'm taking my stuff back is because you just kept taking, and you never gave nothing back. Yeah, you did give stuff back, because every time Jody gave you something, it was always with, but you can't do this. You can't do that. And Jody always give you just enough so that you got to rely on him. Because see, only he know when he going to pull the plug. But see, the Most High, he still said, listen, Barry, you still got the same deal. Again, all that you see is yours, but you got to walk right before me and do my commandments. He said, I helped you here. I knew you was going to mess it up, son. But why don't you repent and change? And I've told you before, we learned that word teshuvah. It's a military term which means about face. Well, how can an immature saint give reciprocity? Mature. Look at the word, look at the instructions, and carry them out explicitly. Get rid of your philosophy about a thing. That's what's tripping you up. That's what's keeping you immature. That's what keeps you getting into your feelings. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I guarantee most of us that made an emotional decision, if we're being honest, it bit us in the butt. Don't ever let how you feel about something be the dominating factor about your decision making. Let me go a little further. He said, I will increase them. They will not be decreased. I will honor them. They will not be despised. Their children will be as they used to be. Their community confirmed in my presence. And I will punish everyone who oppresses them. We've been beat down. We've been beat down. But let me say this. Yes, that's true. But folks, we got to shake this victim mentality. It's further crippling us. Every one of us in here have had major disappointments in life. But let me tell you this. You've disappointed some people too. When it was time for some of us to step up, we fell like a $3 bill. When it was time for you to stand up and be the man or the woman of integrity, you folded like a deck of cards. People were counting on you. You were nowhere to be found. I don't even use the word membership no more. I said people affiliate. We got too many celebrities. You know, a lot of the big name celebrities, what are they doing? All of them trying to get back to work. I wonder, all that money they made, where that money go? And I don't waste time trying to count somebody else's money. I think that's the stupidest thing you can do. Okay, so they got a nice car, so what? And I'm not saying, hey, good for them. I'm not begrudging nobody. But why do we spend time trying to figure out what somebody else got? That's not putting one dime in your wallet. So stop that. And remember now, and all of us heard this in church, remember, Yah is our source. He said, I will increase them. They will not be decreased. I will honor them. They will not be despised. Their children will be as they used to be. Their community confirmed in my presence. And I will punish everyone who oppresses them. And that, again, yes, we've been done dirty. Yes, we have. But, you know, hey, we got to get up. Don't just lay there. Don't just lay there. And men, if you get knocked down, get back up and get back in the fight. The fight ain't over. Some of us get hit once and we don't ever get up again. Everybody gonna get a lick. Everybody gonna get a 2x4 upside the back of your head. Do you have the intestinal fortitude to get up? Look at how they did Yeshua. And no, I'm not abdicating that you go around punching people out. I'm not saying that. But man, we've become too soft. And men, I'm telling you, that's a dangerous thing. That's you gotta stay on point. If the whole household on vacation, okay, you gotta stay in your post. I mean that. Listen to this. He says, their leader will be one of their own. Their ruler will come from among them. I will cause him to come close and let him approach me, for otherwise he would guarantee his heart. Enough to approach me, says Yah. You will be my people, and I will be your God. What is he saying? He's saying, yes, you're going to get knocked down some. Yeah, Jody going to want his stuff back. But he's saying, I'm the one that let Jody give it to you in the first place. Of course, Jody, with his evil inclination, everything he give you, and somebody talked about this, all of this new stuff, this new technology, some of it's going to be good, but some of it's going to make us even lazier. I mean, saints, we too chill. We too chill, and we don't realize the house on fire. And we still tiptoeing through the tulips. Worried about the next tea party. And I'm not talking about the political tea party. And I ain't against parties. Celebrations are okay, but life ain't always a celebration. Yeah, that's right. We get all worked up about stuff. And then 24 hours after the event, your real life come, hello, I'm still here. Folks, we got to grow up.
He says, I will cause him to come close and let him approach me, for otherwise, who would guarantee his heart enough to approach me? In other words, who's got enough faith that they will come to me and say, this is myself, I will come to them and say, Father, I feel worthless, but I'm coming to you anyway, and I don't know what, but I'm willing to do whatever I can for you because you've done everything for me. I mean, really, when all of us think about it, look at how he's blessed you. We done messed stuff up. He had stuff set up for us, and all we had to do was just do what he said do, and we decided we gonna do something else. And he still blessed us. He still showed favor. Yes, we done caught a couple of boards upside the head. Good for us. We need it. No, it ain't always pleasant, but correction is needed. And see, the worst thing a parent or grandparent can do, you already know. You know why you got that 2x4 upside the back of your head. If you really love your children and your grandchildren, get them straight before so they don't have to get a 2x4 upside the back of the head. And he knows how to hit you, not to kill you, but it's to get you, Barry, don't do that no more. And some of us, that's the only way we're going to learn. We got more and more people. A couple of months ago, I don't need nobody. I'm self-sufficient. What is it? I'm a self-made. I pull myself up. If I hear one more person say that, I want to hit them with a shoe. I pull myself up by my own bootstraps. Oh, I get so tired of hearing that. You a liar. You ain't have no bootstraps. But see, that's the way the system works. It keeps us going in our pockets, I got a thing for a notice from the, I got it from the utility people. They going up on the water thing. I said, come on. And y'all, same thing, I'm sure. Well, I'm not going to call no cities or nothing, but I'm just saying, when you check your mail, everything going up. And y'all love to beat up on the insurance industry, but I ain't going to get into that. But that's how I made a lot of my money, but, that's all right. It's a decent industry. I ain't saying it's without its faults, but everything going up, man. Well, yeah, except pay. But why do we think that is? Why? Listen, we learned a long time ago when all else fails, agony is on the scene. Agony riding high. But like I was saying earlier, 1 month person talking a whole bunch of junk, talking about how, and then the next month, that same person on YouTube, I'm tired of working. I'm tired. Give me I think it's a GoFundMe. 1 minute you calling me broke Dusty, and now you want me to send you a few dollars. I'm going to send you something. Let me stop. My evil inclination said, I'm going to send him something. See, y'all, that's how I stay up on what's going on, because I watch a lot of YouTube. And I watch a lot of people. I've seen people 1 month bragging about the lifestyle that they live. And see, let me say this, church folk. If you don't learn how to properly manage your money, that lifestyle you like to take selfies with and show, you don't own that lifestyle. Whether you know it or not, you're paying for it month by month. And if your source of income get cut, I guarantee you in 30 days, that lifestyle that you're taking all them, you might not have the phone to take the selfies no more. We got to learn how to manage our finances better, folks. I know I told you I wasn't going, and I'm not. I'm going to leave it alone. I know y'all tired of me talking about that. Folks, like I told you, celebrities are going back to work. They ain't going back to work because they want to hone their craft. That lifestyle, stuff going away. I'm leasing a Rolls Royce. I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm leasing a Rolls Royce. And I'm going to pull up at, I don't know, there's some nicer places than Ruth Chris, but I'm going to have them drop me off at Ruth Chris. Trying to impress who? I mean, why do we do the stupid stuff? What are we trying to impress people for? See, this is what the prophets, of course the prophet's not talking about a Rolls Royce, but it's talking about the people of that day. They too were trying to live like we're on top of the world. And the things that he blessed them with, haphazard with it. Again, the more you acquire, the more that's required of you. And I'm going to tell you something. When you reach a certain age, you're going to realize, I got too much stuff. And that house you just had to have, when things get tight, you're going to have to tell Molly Mae, see you, Molly Mae. Now you might have to call one of your siblings, can you help me? No, I'm cleaning my own house. Well, then they might, I know if a certain person called her brother, first thing he gonna tell her, no. He likes telling her no. But then the Holy Spirit get to working on him. He'll say, you think I was out of line for saying that? And I know him well enough now. I'm going to tell him the truth. Yeah, you out of line. Get on over there and do that for your sister. He was going to do it anyway. But no, I'm joking, but I'm serious too, folks. We need to grow up and we need to get a little tougher. Now, I'm not saying, listen, if you in over your head, we're gonna try to help you. But it's too many of us. We don't come to practice, but yet when the game time, put me in, coach. Why? You ain't been to practice. You don't even know the plays. Why somebody gonna put you in the game for you to mess up? Then we got those that come to practice, and they've been practicing a certain way, but then game day, I decide now, I've been practicing running back. Game day, I see the stadium full. All of a sudden, coach, I want a quarterback. Barry, you spent the whole week running back plays. So what is the quarterback going to do if you play quarterback that he practiced all week? What are you saying? Same thing. Coming to the house of worship. Y'all has an order for everything. And his instructions should be followed explicitly. It's too many of us that think we can differentiate when it strikes us. That's a dangerous thing, saints. You would think the creator of heaven and earth knows exactly what he wants, how he wants it, and when he wants it. And we got to remember, and it's hard sometimes because a lot of us do live lives that's close to going to Busch Gardens and King's Dominion every day. And I ain't mad at you. I'm not hating. I'm not hating. But I'm just trying to tell you, brothers and sisters, every day ain't King's Dominion and Busch Gardens. It's not. Even if somebody said, I want to take, because I think you just so cute, let me take you to Busch Gardens today. And sometimes that may happen. But it costs that person something to be able to do that for you. We need to learn how to do more than just always receive. Well, you know, I can't do for them what they did for me. You don't have to. Why don't you do something for somebody else that can't do nothing for you? Give me Lut Hasadim. That's the highest form of giving. When you give to somebody, that's like, well, I won't use that, but helping somebody that they can never repay you. That's the highest form of giving. That's the highest form of giving. See, for reciprocity to really work among us, it's like A do something for B, B might not do something for A, B may turn around and do something for C, and on and on and on. Even the world know the concept, pay it forward. So we're going to let the world tell us we don't know how to reciprocate? Mm. 7 minutes. He says, I will cause him to come close and let him approach me, for otherwise, who would guarantee his heart enough to approach me? In fact, the Most High is saying, listen, he's so holy, he knows. Well, let me put it to you this way. All of us that he created, we had good sense when he created us. Now, something happened to some of us. But he said, all that he made was what? Good. But yet here he's saying, well, with all of mankind that I created, who would dare of their own, who would approach me? Thank you, B. Who would dare approach me? If you got good sense, you wouldn't approach him unless he bade you come. I know a lot of folks. What are you talking about, Barry? The Bible says, come boldly before the throne of grace. Listen, you got sin in your life, don't you come boldly before the throne of grace. You might get burnt up. I know what the preacher said. See, what is it? 7 things God hated. The thing I remember, he don't like a proud look. And the way we've been taught scriptures, it puff a lot of us up because we think our prayers, it's almost like from my mouth, because I've heard people say that, from your mouth to God's ear. I'm like, shut up. Yes, we can go to him, but he and I, we ain't like this. In fact, I can say to another human being, we ain't like this. So why in Sam Hill would I think I'm like this with the Most High? But the way we've been taught, it makes us think that. We ain't on par with him. That's dangerous. He said, you will be my people and I will be your God. You know, the thing about the prophets, one minute he fussing at us and he's telling us, Barry, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. And he going to do it. And then you read a little further and he's saying, son, while I'm correcting you, sometimes it's as if I'm crying myself, but I'm going to correct you because I love you that much. See, sometimes now I know. There is, yes, this thing called mercy. But in correction, the correction still must go forth. The mercy is the lessening of the impact. It's not, okay, all right, Barry, I'm going to let you get away with that. He don't do that. But he did. I did teach earlier. Sometimes some of the dirt we get, we may not catch the consequences of it. But he said it might visit your children. It might visit your grandchildren. It might visit a further generation down. See, because we think, got away with that. Don't nobody know. Don't nobody know but me and God. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. See, if you really love your folks, if you really love your seed, if you really do, you'll watch what you do and say, even if it do seem like he turned his head. And I've told you before, I firmly believe there have been times in my life he did turn away, but he turned away because if he had looked at me, I wouldn't be here. It was in his mercy. And I believe it's the same in your life. But I am going to have but 2 minutes, seniors. We can make it at least to 100. And if we really want to, we can make $120. But, you know, for some of us, that's 40, 50. Some might be even 60 years from now. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is properly manage your money. And yes, we love them. They precious, all of that. You got to live too. I've had nothing, all this week I've had conversations with people, and not all of them go here, but I've had conversations with parents and grandparents because they're wrestling. I mean, I'm not talking about, can I have $50 to take my girlfriend out? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking. Right. Somebody said it. I'm talking big dollars for us. You done worked 40 years or more and done got something set aside. And I said, listen, they got youth on their side. Even with our investments, we got to be careful how we invest. And I'm not telling you to be selfish. That's not what I'm saying. But because I love you, I'm telling you, look, you got to live, you got to eat too. And we can't let them guilt us. You do love them. And sometimes when you love them, you should say no. But let me stop, because I'm talking to myself too, because I know I've been a pushover as a godfather. I know it. I know it. You know, I always thought the answer was, well, if they can get it and you got it, you should give it to them. But no. But I'm not saying don't. I think y'all understand what I'm saying. But to get to 100 and to get to 120, you can't stay in this country for free. I see it, Reg. 1 minute. This thing with the prophets, it does. And I know it sounds like I'm fussing. I'm not fussing. I'm just concerned. I'm concerned about me. I'm concerned about us. And we've had a lot of saints leave here. They in glory now. And I've told them on the phone. I've told them in the office. Some of them gave. Listen, you can't get, listen, if you give out of your foundation, if you go down, everything going down. Remember that. You are more than just a resource. God bless you.